Hello everybody, this is Dumpster Cat. Welcome back to another Pioneer video. I have a bit of an interesting selection of deck choices for today. Before we get into it though, I wanted to get your opinion on these types of videos. I know I've kind of been branching out a bit lately with this historic videos, and this one is definitely kind of a departure from that as well, at least from the typical BGX mid-range decks that I play with in Pioneer. So let me know if you find these types of videos interesting. I do have a lot of fun making these decks and playing with them and showing them off for you guys. Kind of different part of my personality, at least in Magic, is brewing up really interesting decks that I find fun playing. Obviously, they still will usually be in the black or green colors, as we can see here. This is just mono black. So you do have some type of insurance there if you're worried about me not playing with like the black or green colors in Pioneer, as I will still be doing that. However, this is obviously not BGX, so if you're not interested in that, sorry. I hope you could find some interest at least still in this. But yeah, let's get into the deck. So this is a deck that I've been having a lot of surprising success with, just playing a few matches here and there with. It operates off of a few different levels of operation, I guess you could say. We do have the ramp element, I guess quote-unquote ramp element, in the form of just treasure token accumulation, and Golos is a bit more of a ramp card, a bit more permanent ramp card, I should say. But we do have, if you're familiar with the standard, I guess it was a year ago, maybe something like that, you would see a lot of mono black decks playing Shambling Ghast alongside Deadly Dispute and Skullport Merchant to kind of amass this sort of kind of quote-unquote ramp kind of mid-range game plan. We're able to attain a lot of value off of cards like Deadly Dispute, which is just very, very efficient, and of course the Skullport Merchant. And then gain a lot of treasure tokens as well, and then ramp into some really, really interesting things. So the other, I guess two other like levels of operation we're working off of here. First one being the Warlock class plus Scourge of the Skyclaves combo. So I really like having access to combos in Pioneer. I really like this deck in specific with its combo, just because it's kind of just an afterthought. Scourge is like not entirely good otherwise. It can be just a very, very good powerhouse if it's late in the game and like you're playing against, say, like an aggro deck or a mid-range deck where they're dealing you damage. Scourge can just be like an 8/8 out of nowhere for 2 mana, which is very nice. Most of the time, though, he is just going to be a combo piece if you're not familiar with it. Warlock class, if you're able to get it to level 3, and then if you're able to get a kicked Scourge cast, you are able to deal your opponent's life total to them and kill them. It does take 14 mana, I guess, 17 if you're counting the Warlock class cast and level 2, but typically 14 mana over the course of 2 turns, so it is very mana intensive. But like I said, it is kind of an afterthought. Warlock class has a lot of other applications and just card selection, dealing damage to your opponent here and there, kind of draining them, controlling them a bit. And then of course I said Scourge kind of has some applications elsewhere as well. So combo is very, very good, but also these cards are just powerful otherwise. And then the final aspect of the deck that I'm most excited to show off for you guys, just because I think it's the most powerful, especially in the meta right now, is just the late game ramp package, I guess you could call it. As we see here, we have Karn, Invoke, and Golos. Karn, we already know this is a very, very powerful card. Index that could get it out early, index that can protect it. So obviously, like mono green and choreographers play this card as they're able to cheat it out on mana. We're able to kind of do that, not obviously as quickly or as effectively as they can, but just being like a card you could play on turn 3, a card you could play in the late game and protect with like Fatal Push or blockers, is really, really powerful, especially if you take a look at the sideboard. We have access to Wishclaw Talisman, which is really, really interesting. Just either getting up the Invoke, Golos, or quite commonly we just tutor up the combo if you want to go down that route. So Karn just like incredible in this deck, and then Golos, a bit of a more uncommon one in the format right now. We do have the Cataracts and Blast Zone to get off of it usually. Really powerful ramp, value engine, hugely just like insane against Rakdos, right? Very good against aggressive decks as well. we're able to get this out as early as turn 3, which is really insane. Same with Invoke Despair, I guess you could say as well. If we go turn 1 Shambling Ghast, then turn 2 Deadly Dispute, we'll have 3 lands and then 2 treasure tokens we could get out one of these 5 drops. So really, really insane there. Invoke Despair, incredible in the format right now. That's dominated by Rakdos and Mono Green. A bit weaker against the aggressive decks, I will say, but just an insanely powerful card. Source of card advantage. Can just, if you chain multiple of these over the course of a few turns, you could just kill your opponent outright with the amount of damage it deals. But yeah, just very controlling card and plays really, really nicely in this mono black deck that could either just cheat it out early or take advantage of it really, really nicely in the late game. With that being said, though, I think that's about the deck. It went through a few different iterations. I played around with having like Wishclaw Talismans in the main deck for the combo. Kind of didn't feel that was correct. Then I played Diabolic Intent as a tutor piece for the combo as well. But then it kind of like morphed into this more mid-range ramp deck that just has the combo as a alternative win condition. I think that's kind of how you want to build it. I don't think that going pure combo is correct. You know, you already have decks in the format like Lotus Field that are just a lot better at doing that than you are. And so I think going for the mid-range kind of ramp plan first off, and then having the combo as just kind of an afterthought is really powerful and definitely correct, at least in the format as is. So with that being said, hope you enjoy the deck tech, hope you enjoy the kind of alternative video for the day. Consider subscribing to the channel, and yeah, I'll see you in the matches. Okay, here we are with the first match of the 3 matches that we'll be playing for this video. Gonna have to mulligan this one, just no black mana. Okay, this one's gonna be keepable. Probably just put back the second Warlock class. Always like having hands that have a nice spread of early game and late game plays. As you can see here, we have the Ghast and the push, the Warlock class, of course, and then Golos to kind of establish our late game inevitability. Hopefully that'll be enough. So the opponent seems to be mulliganing pretty aggressively, going down to 4 cards here. Hopefully we could still have a pretty good game though. Just looking at the Karn sideboard for a second, I'm not sure about a few cards here. I like having access to the talisman. I'm not sure if I like this Mightstone and Weakstone. It seems, obviously it's nice removal, but it seems like it could be a bit weak. Maybe just want Sky Sovereign more times than that. I think here I'll just go for the Shambling Ghast. Usually if I'm debating like what one drop to play with this deck, if I'm light on lands, then I'll usually just go for the Warlock class, and then just look to be leveling it up as quickly as possible. Interesting, we have an Attune with Aether for a mountain from the opponent. So perhaps some sort of energy strategy here. Okay, I think here we could just play the Warlock class and then play a tapped Castle Lochthwain and then attack for 1 and pass the turn. Again, just kind of looking to establish our presence on the board and then just wait till we're able to resolve our Golos here. Servant of the Conduit, okay. So yep, likely to see Aetherworks Marvel from the opponent, or maybe if they're just wanting to be a more aggressive. Okay, I think I am pretty satisfied with attacking first, see if they just want to trade with the Ghast. But now, yep, they'll just take the 1 as assumed, and then we could just pretty cleanly get rid of this Servant. And then play, nah, I'd rather actually level up the class here, as we just want to be hitting our land drops. Yeah, we can just take a swamp here. And they even lose 1, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, feeling pretty good. We could even get a Blast Zone off of the Golos if the opponent is looking to establish more creatures, but I guess kind of seems like they're not. Okay, the third land there is, or fifth land rather, there is very nice, as it guarantees our Golos. Just swing in for one, and then I think I'm pretty unlikely to activate Castle, so I'll just play out the second Ghast. Okay, opponent with the fourth land, another Attune, so they're doing a lot of setup, but I'm not sure what they have in store to actually beat us. They have two unknowns, and yep, not sure what they could have, honestly. Okay, just past turn. Yeah, it looks like we're just gonna play out the Golos here and probably just get Cascading Cataracts. I mean, like, worst case scenario, opponent goes Aetherworks Marvel next turn, and in that case we'd be in a tough scenario, but I think we should be in okay shape. Shambling Gas, a very nice card, just kind of ties the room together. Seemingly underpowered at first, but very, very synergistic in the deck. Protects Planeswalkers very nicely. Yeah, let's just get Cascading Cataracts. Oftentimes it's just like a one drop to play on turn one that just gets sacrificed by Deadly Dispute on turn two, but with that you could even set up like a turn I'm pretty sure turn 3 Invoke Despair or Golos off of that sequencing, which is pretty powerful. Okay, so it looks like they're on the aggressive plan. Makes sense, perhaps with like a sideboard Aetherworks Marvel plan, maybe that's looking too much into it. Plus X where X is its power. Interesting. Okay. So here looks like we don't have enough mana to Cataracts. We're one off, so we just have to play the Hive tapped, and then so this could get pretty big pretty quickly if they have pump spells. So I think I'm pretty likely to leave back one of the Shambling Ghasts, or I'll probably just end up attacking. Yeah, let's just attack with the Hive. Exile their Servant, I'm guessing, and then just leave our creatures back on block duty. I think it's just the safest play, as I don't really want to be attacking with the Golos, as we have the ability set up for next turn, so don't want to like throw them away if the opponent has like pump spell into activate the Pummeler. Or I guess they could even, so they have 9 energy now, they could even get it to a 2/2, then 4/4, then 6/6, so it would be able to block the Golos anyways. Not that that's what they would do, honestly, but I'm just trying to play it safe. So yeah, here I'm I think I'm pretty happy with just blocking with one of the Shambling Ghasts. Obviously this could go wrong if they have a type of trample effect, but I think we have to go with this block. Very nice like spread of lands though with this deck. I really like the mana base. Very, very functional. Oh, so 5, yeah, it looks like they could actually kill us here. Wow. With there's this 2 mana thing. Wow. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. So yeah, couldn't really do much about that, unfortunately. Oh, they had 2 of them. Oh wow, didn't even see the second one cast. Yeah, couldn't really do much about the 36 power Pummeler there. Sideboard, honestly think we're not going to be changing anything with Karn sideboards. You know, typically don't change much, just besides the Thoughtseizes, of course. Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess they're not like they're kind of just all in aggressive rather than like just generally aggressive. So I think I'm pretty happy with bringing in just 2 Thoughtseizes, and then we can perhaps cut like 1 Invoke, and I think Scourge should still be fine. Maybe just cut 2 Invokes. But yeah, I do like having at least access to some sort of hand disruption, especially just if they're on the Pummeler plan and that plan only. I guess Pithing Needle off of Karn is going to be pretty powerful, just naming the Pummeler. Ratchet Bomb could be relevant. Even Stone Brain doesn't seem that bad, honestly. Yeah, I've been really liking the Cityscape Leveler though. This card has been very, very powerful for me. As just like a recursive late game bomb. I had this in the next match, which is going to be pre-recorded. I had this against Rakdos Midrange, and they were just not able to handle it, especially with its unearth ability. Okay, so on the play with this hand, probably just have to mulligan it. Just a little too risky with the 1-lander. This one is not too much better. Does have the lands, but I think we still have to go down to 5, unfortunately. Okay, this one's keepable. Obviously not ideal. I think we just keep these 5. Not ideal, but if we draw into a Golos or an Invoke Despair, we could turn 3 it with the gas into Deadly Dispute, which is pretty powerful. Even just drawing a Karn, like I would be happy with. Just one of our late game bombs. Yeah, I guess just like not drawing Fatal Push as our only removal spell other than Invoke Despair was a bit problematic for last game, so that's kind of why we lost. Okay, so I think pretty happy here, just getting with the 1 damage and then most likely playing Deadly Dispute on their end step. No need to play with the Warlock class. Like, I guess we did draw Fatal Push for the Servant last game, which I believe was the correct play, as we didn't really know what they were on, but perhaps in this game I will play things out a bit differently. Okay, there's a Karn. Very nice. I don't think I need to play him just yet, as well, I mean, we get Karn, or play Karn, get Pithing Needle. Yeah, it doesn't seem too relevant at the moment, as I'm pretty happy with just playing out the Warlock class and the Merchant here, just setting up the blocker preemptively for the Karn. And then even, I guess, like, could even get Sky Sovereign off of him if we think the opponent doesn't have the Pummeler just yet. But yeah, the treasure tokens are quite relevant when considering their ability to get Revolt off a Fatal Push. That's come up several times against Greasefang, Shieldred, just interacting with Shieldred for 1 mana without like having to go through any other hoops to get Revolt is really, really relevant. Okay, so here, I think we still play out Karn, and then I just kind of want to get the whatchamacallit, Ratchet Bomb with how they've been setting up here. So this does get Trample. So if they attack like next turn, if they attack with both, I think I'm just gonna be putting the merchant in front of the brawler, and just keeping the card alive, I believe. We could have gone like activate Warlock class, sacrifice a treasure perhaps, but I think just getting down the Ratchet Bomb for now is probably a bit safer. We could even pivot plans just a bit and go for like the 3 charge counters on this, playing around the Pummeler. But yeah, just the 2/2 drops. I think it's pretty easy to just go for this the Ratchet Bomb there. Okay, yeah, opponent with the 4th land. 4 energy currently. Looks like they're going to go to attacks. And see how they attack. Yep, both at Karn. So, well, I actually could keep Merchant alive and just let Karn die. Oh, that's very interesting. They don't even activate Brawler. Wow, okay. So in that case, I'll block. Definitely block. I mean, they could easily have a pump spell and get me here, which I think I'm okay if they do that. I mean, the merchant's not like doing too much, especially with us using the treasure tokens last turn. Really need to draw into something though. Okay, so just the Blossom Defense on the Servant is very okay with me. Keeps the merchant alive. I was mainly just scared of like a trample effect there as well. Okay, start by activating Warlock class. Hopefully get into a Fatal Push, Deadly Dispute, Golos, invoke another Karn. Let's see what we get though. If the opponent playing can play a little quicker, that'd be nice. Okay, Shambling Gas, Thoughtseize. I think I'll just pick up the Thoughtseize here. See what they're up to. Okay, so they do have Pummeler in hand. They have Collision Colossus and another Brawler. So interesting that they are just leaving up mana for that. Yeah, let's just take the Pummeler, I guess. Seems fairly easy to me. And yeah, pass turn. So they're like in a pretty tough spot, as they can't really play out the Brawler next turn, and then they could deal us a good amount of damage if they want to use this. They could even like kill the Merchant if they really want to. But we'll see what they do. I think either way I'm pretty willing to block and then just like make them use. Oh, they go with the Brawler. That's interesting. And just make them use the Colossus. Main phase, Attune with Aether, okay. So, yeah, not sure if my opponent really realizes us having Ratchet Bomb on 2 good to clear the board next turn. I mean, I guess like, yeah, like we would both be on top deck mode at that point. But yeah, I think it favors us just a bit. Okay, so they don't even pay energy, so I think I'm just gonna go here and then force them to use the Colossus if they want to kill the Merchant here. I feel like they should have paid the energy there rather than saving it up. Wow, they don't even use it. Interesting. Okay. Fine by me. Okay, actually, Merchant's not a terrible draw. Could use him. And then I think I'll just immediately sack the treasure we get. Deadly Dispute. Okay, cool. So let's just pass turn. And then wait for as long as possible to use the Ratchet Bomb. Likely just going to be using it in combat though. Yeah. So we could still set up blockers here to like try to bait out their Colossus, but I'm sure they will just not use it here. So block the 2 brawlers. Again, just trying to bait something out. Yeah, even here, yeah, I guess just sacrifice now. Okay, cool. So nothing from the opponent. They didn't even play their Stomping Ground. With the Golos draw, I think I'm pretty likely just to play him out. We don't have guaranteed Cataract's mana next turn if we don't draw an untap land. So you know, obviously that's not good, but I think we're still supposed to run him out here. Probably just on average a bit better than playing out the Deadly Dispute on one of the merchants. Although I guess we could have gone Dispute into Golos. That could have probably been just a bit better. Yeah, maybe that was a bit better. Yeah, because then we could have a higher likelihood of guaranteeing the land next turn for the Cataracts, or I guess Golos mana. But I think we're in pretty good shape here nonetheless. The opponent doesn't seem to have too much going on for them right now. Okay, so they draw into Pummeler. Obviously good draw. I get 3 energy up to 11. So I do need to find a way to get rid of that guy. So definitely not going to be going with the Golos plan. Let's start by sacking a merchant. Just really trying to draw into a Fatal Push or Invoke Despair. Yeah, that definitely does it. Cardin would do it too. Getting Pithing Needle, but I think I'm just pretty happy getting the Invoke resolved here. Invoke Despair just like such a powerful card for us. We even draw a Fatal Push, which is nice. And then just attack. So like this deck is a bit slow in the sense that we don't have like very many attackers, but we do have a lot of inevitability. Obviously the combo win just gets them in the late game. But quite often we just win with the value attained off of Golos, off of Karn, off of Deadly Dispute. So yeah, I mean, deck is functioning pretty well here. We had some mulligans to 5 this game, right? So we're doing pretty well. That Ratchet Bomb off of Karn definitely doing a lot of work here. So I think it's pretty safe just to activate Golos here. Seems like the best decision / most fun. Okay, so we get Scourge, which is currently a 4/4. Yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay, Sacrifice this treasure. Nice, nice, nice. Scourge. And already played a land. Okay, sweet. Nice, okay. So yeah, feeling really good this match. Also always feels really nice just getting like big scourges out on the battlefield whenever they're relevant. But yeah, that goalless hit was that was pretty good. Definitely pretty good. And then we even have Revolted Fatal Push up for any random shenanigans they have here, but they seem to be just likely dead here. But yeah, the Thoughtseize definitely was powerful there too. Very relevant. And okay, they just concede. Sweet. Okay. So I don't know. Thoughtseize was really powerful there. I think I'm willing to bring another one for a Warlock class, and just go like this. You know, I'm just gonna bring in them all. I think we just want to be prepared for just the Pummeler, as they seem just to be all in on that plan. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, not the best starting hand from us. Think we have to put this one back, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, a lot better. No removal, which is a little problematic, but definitely think it's okay. I think we could just put it back a land pretty easily. Opponent with a tune with Aether. Okay, Urborg is a nice draw. So this is a turn 3 Golos hand, which is actually pretty relevant. That may just be what we want to be doing here. We'll see what they play out though, and what we end up drawing off this Deadly Dispute. Okay, just play nothing. So no Servant, no Brawler. Unless they're thinking, no, okay. So let's just attack for 1, and then hold up the Deadly Dispute, and then just set up Golos for next turn. So we drew Blast Zone. I'm pretty unlikely to get Cataracts this early in the game. But so I guess getting like Hive would be the second best. But I would likely just to be getting the Blast Zone otherwise. Okay, oh, Ronus the Indomitable. Very interesting. So this buffs their creatures. Very interesting, okay. So Invoke Despair gets that, but besides that, we don't have any way of removing this creature. Okay, let's see what we draw into with this Deadly Dispute. More lands and Shambling-Ghast, okay. And a Thoughtseize, though. Yeah, I think we have to Thoughtseize here. I'm just really scared of them having a Pummeler. Ooh, wow, okay. So pretty good hand from the opponent. I think we're just definitely supposed to take the Pummeler here. Yeah, they could play the Rampager next turn and then attack with the Ruinous, but I think we just have to take the Pummeler. Yeah, play Shambling Ghast and just a Swamp. Don't want to play out. Well, yeah, I don't. Well, if we played out Merchant, then we have 4 mana, so still 5 mana next turn. But I think I like keeping as much treasure as possible at the moment. Okay, interesting. So they don't want to play out the Rampager. Very interesting. Karn is really nice. Okay. Yeah, I think we just actually play him out. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Play him, and then could obviously get Pithing Needle again, or just Stone Brain. The Mightstone and Weakstone actually kills Ruinous, so may just want to get that. Yeah, it kills Ruinous, and then kind of ramp for Golos as well. I think that's probably the most relevant here. Yeah. They do have Blossoming Defense though, so that is kind of annoying, but what can you do? I think it's still correct getting Mightstone and Wheatstone. Okay, so they just play out the Rampager, makes sense. Excuse me. So actually this is, if they don't have a land, this is pretty good for us. They didn't even attack Karn. Whoa. So I think I'm just taking that damage. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I'll block actually. I'll gain 5 life. Yeah, get a treasure token. Yeah, them not leaving up Blossoming Defense is going to be pretty good for us here with the Mightstone and Weakstone. Another Golos, okay. Let's just play this out. So kill Ruinous, and then we could play out the Merchant. Not really sure what we want to be getting off this second Karn activation. It may just be Cityscape Leveler. Yeah, probably just Cityscape Leveler. Then next turn, yeah, we have the mana to cast him. So I think we just go for that. And then that should probably be pretty good for us. They do still have the Blossoming Defense. They could actually get this to a 10-10 at least next turn, so hopefully they don't have any way of actually killing us here. I didn't really think of that. If they have like a double power, some way of doubling its power, then we're dead. This may actually go pretty wrong for us. We'll see though. No, okay. They just choose to kill Karn, makes sense. And then they just pass, okay. Swamp, okay. So I think we just have to go Leveler here. Have to. It's acting like it's a bad thing. Pay 6, okay. So they'll Blossoming Defense, I assume. And then we just have a huge blocker. No, they don't even Blossoming Defense. Wow. Well, okay. I'm not really sure what's going on then with the way they played that out. I think it's just pretty free to play this Merchant as well. Maybe they have a Pummeler in hand and they want to be saving these cards for it, but I think it definitely was correct to just play the Blossoming Defense. maybe the opponent's just a little bit new to these interactions. I'm not sure. Okay, and they just concede. So yeah, I mean, we didn't see the combo, but we saw just the power of Karn, Golos, the big mana quotation marks elements of this deck with the ability of ramping with treasure tokens being really relevant with the Cityscape Leveler. Plus Golos activation last game was really sweet. Yeah, really fun game, really fun match. See you for the next one. Okay, so here we are for the second match. So this one's going to be up against Rakdos Midrange. Unfortunately, it's going to be replay, but I think could still add some pretty good commentary nonetheless. So we have this opening hand. We do keep it just in the blind. I think that's probably correct, as we have very powerful 5-drops. So we could even ramp into them, quote unquote ramp into them with the Skullport Merchant treasure token, obviously. So we see Bankbuster and Rakdos lands, so we know what we're up against, obviously. Just keep on drawing lands, but the Karn is actually very nice. We see the opponent just play out a Bonecrusher Giant, which is definitely fine by us. Here we have the option of, I guess, 3 really good options. Probably not going to go for the Karn, because they could just attack into it. But I believe we just go for the Golos here because it acts as a very nice blocker against the Bonecrusher Giant, and then being able to get Cascading Cataracts is going to be very, very detrimental against the mid-range deck. So we just go for that line. They draw a card off the Bankbuster and just play out a Harvester. We, however, just keep on drawing lands, which is okay. And then we just invoke Despair. They are going to sacrifice the Bonecrusher Giant, which I was a bit confused by, but later on we will see why they made that decision. We draw into another Karn, which is great, and then the Shambling Ghast. So we're still looking really nice. We get to just lay back on blockers, or on blocking duty. And then we finally understand why they didn't just sacrifice, a lot happening there. Why didn't they just sacrifice the Harvester? They had 2 more in hand, so they were able to play them out, have 3 blood tokens, be able to sacrifice one of them, kill the Golos, Thoughtseize away our second Golos. However, we still just do have the 2 cards in hand. We draw a combo piece in the form of Warlock class, which is very nice. And then we do just play out the card, at least one of the cards, and we get a boat. We obviously do have a lot of options. You can make a case for Leveler, Statue, even Mightstone and Meekstone, even a Talisman. But I think just going for the Sky Sovereign is going to be the best, as I think main deck Rakdos usually doesn't have many options of getting rid of that card, other than if they're playing Power Word Kill main deck, which I think recently they have not been on. Yeah, so here they pushed our Shambling Ghast. We made a treasure, I believe, sacrificed the treasure to draw a card, and then they were able to attack into our Karn, which was okay. I believe we drew, no, that was it, I think. Yeah, sorry, I should not be doing through it that much, or that quickly. We play our land, and then we just play out the boat here, and then we cleanly get rid of the Bonecrusher Giant. We play our Warlock class, and then activate level 2, and see fairly okay cards here. I just go for the Shambling Ghast, I believe, as it's just a nice outlet to sacrifice into, even get some extra damage there for the Skullport Merchant. Opponents on 1 card, they have to discard a land with the blood token, even draw another card off of the Bankbuster, and they finally just get rid of the whatchamacallit, the Merchant, my bad. We draw a Deadly Dispute, which is really, really nice. However, we just go for the Karn here. I think that's probably just correct. And then I believe we just go back for the Leveler, yeah, as we could play out the Shambling Ghast this turn, and then on the our opponent's end step, what we could do is we could, they have a Bedevil for a Sky Sovereign, which is kind of strange. I was surprised to see them playing this card in their deck, but that's actually kind of okay in the meta right now, getting vehicles. But what we're able to do on their end step is play this Dispute, sacrificing the Shambling Ghast. They just go after a Karn here, looks like. And then we already have, I guess we already do have Leveler mana, but just getting even more mana, here we're just able to field the Hive pretty easily. Yeah, so I guess now, I guess now we're not able to Deadly Dispute, but we still have the mana, fortunately. So the opponent Thought Seizes, so they can take away the Leveler. Fortunately, though, for us, it does have Unearth, and the opponent is at 9 life, which is exactly the amount of power we have in the play. So we're able to get them pretty nicely here. So just really showing off the power of Cityscape Leveler. This card is a beast against Rakdos. I haven't played against Mono Green yet, but I would imagine it's very, very powerful in that matchup as well. Just a recursive threat that has multiple ways of interacting with the opponent on multiple occasions is just really, really powerful, and just getting off of Karn is just gravy on top. Okay, here we are for the game 2 of match 2. Have a keepable hand. We did not make any changes post sideboard. Really no reason to bring in the Thought Seizes, I feel like. Could bring them in against cards like Shieldred, or if we think they are bringing in Sky Sovereign against us, which could be problematic, as it's kind of hard to interact with. But I just opted not to, just ran it back. They have 200 Thoughtseize for our Invoke, which is definitely good for them. However, we just draw some more lands, and we do have access to Shambling Ghast, which is going to be nice for ramping up into this Golos. We draw another Swamp, and then we just pass turn. See, the opponent has a Harvester, another Thoughtseize, taking away our Skullport Merchant, which I thought was a bit incorrect. I thought they should have taken the Golos, as that's just like our late game inevitability right there. But they take the Merchant, I guess thinking that we would get too much value off of it possibly, and just play out a second Harvester and killing the Shambling Ghast. Yeah, and so we just have to pass turn. They attack for 3, and then play a Shieldred, which is pretty problematic for us, as we currently don't have any way of interacting with it. We just draw a tap land, which is definitely not good, and I just actually concede here, as they have 7 damage attacking next turn, which would bring us down to 8, and then another 2, so bring us down to a 6, and then just playing out the Golos doesn't really do much against the Death Touch creature, so I just opted to concede there. Okay, so finally game 3 against this Rakdos deck. Feeling pretty confident in the matchup. The opponent just got us with a couple of Thoughtseizes, taking away our bigger late game bombs in that game, so definitely fair enough for them. We have we have to mulligan, unfortunately. This hand's really good though. This hand for 2 reasons. I guess 3, but main 2 being just Deadly Dispute is really good, even though we don't have any artifacts or creatures at the moment to sacrifice to it. This card is just a really big pain for the Rakdos deck to play around. So we obviously having 3 of them is going to be really nice. We also have the Invoke Despair as well, so really, really like this hand. I really just wanted to draw the Invokes in this matchup. However, we do just discard one of the Deadly Disputes and play our Warlock class. So here is something really interesting. They turn 1 Thoughtseized our Deadly Dispute. I feel like they definitely should have gone for the Invoke. However, it is kind of an interesting conversation. Seeing the second land in hand, they may have thought we would have pretty easily gotten a creature or artifact to sacrifice to the Deadly Dispute. And in that sense, seeing the only the 2 lands and no way of ramping further with the Deadly Dispute, they may wanted to like get our ramp elements offline. However, we are able to level 2 Warlock class. We saw another class, Invoke Despair and Skullport Merchant. I was really inclined to take the Invoke Despair. However, I just opted to go for the Merchant. That's just the more mana efficient play, as we only have 3 lands. But now they have a second Thoughtseize, so now this makes a lot more sense, their play of taking the first Deadly Dispute, as this kind of kind of in a way kind of strands the Invoke Despair in our hand. However, now that we do have the Merchant, we are able to ramp a bit, draw another Invoke Despair, so very, very lucky in this game, drawing the Invokes as we play out the Merchant and just pass turn. And so now if we draw an untapped land next turn, we can just Invoke and be in like really good shape. They just play out a Harvester, and thankfully enough for us, we do draw that land, and it had to be a black land, so it had to be either Swamp or Castle Lochthwain or Urborg or Takenuma. And so we are very fortunate in that case, and we're just able to very cleanly invoke them here, get rid of their Harvester, deal them 4, and draw 2, so that's just really, really nice for us. And swing for 1, and then Warlock class deals them an extra 1. They just have another Harvester and a Bank Buster, so like really nothing much to worry about. Unfortunately, Invoke doesn't hit artifacts, but like we're really not worrying about that at this point, as we're able to just go with another Invoke. Here, take out the Harvester, deal them another 4, and then attack for 1, and then another 1 from the class, just like last turn. And we just have some Golos as a really nice bomb next turn. They have a power word kill for the Merchant, which is okay. But yeah, as we see here, we're able to just draw a Swamp, I believe. Oh, sorry, the opponent was still drawing there. Yeah, we play a Swamp, draw Swamp, and then Golos for a Cataracts, and then play out a Shambling Ghast. So another Harvester from the opponent and a Kroxa. We just discard the push. Actually, why did I discard the push? Oh, that's right, because this 8th, yeah, it is 8 mana, right? Yeah, I guess with the Cataracts, it is 8 mana. The 8th mana source was very crucial for us. We ended up drawing it anyways, but really wanted to guarantee it for the Golos activation, which we're able to do here. It does take 8 mana, as you have to tap the Cataracts in addition. Have some really terrible hits here in the form of Scourge, which is a 0/0. We just play it out because it's better than in our graveyard than in exile. But yeah, the opponent just concedes there. It just had enough. So yeah, really nice show from the deck here. Obviously, beating up against Rakdos is a really good sign. I kind of figured this, as we have 12 really good outs to that deck in the form of Karn, Golos, and then obviously here Invoke Despair is just so powerful against them. So definitely feel confident in the matchup. Okay, here we are for match number 3, again in replay mode. So a bit unfortunate if you guys consider the just live gameplay a bit more interesting, but I think it's a bit nicer for me, as it's a bit easier to play like without commentary, just off the bat, and then provide some like further analysis where I'm able to dig a bit deeper into the decisions with hindsight 2020, of course. So in this matchup, in the blind, we're gonna have to mulligan this. Just too many mana sources. We mulligan into a very nice hand. Have nice early game, nice late game, nice mid game, even with the Warlock class as well. And I do just in the blind discard, or I guess put back the second Fatal Push, as I deemed that to be the least relevant card. We draw into a Deadly Dispute, see a Watery Grave. So whenever I see Grave, my first inclination is to think of the Mirror Control. However, as we see, this will not be the case, but we'll get there in a sec. So we just play out the Shambling Ghast. I think that's correct, hitting the Deadly Dispute. We're not really going to need the level 2 off the class as much, or just at all at this point. So we just go for the Shambling Ghast, draw Golos, which is nice, and we just play a land, Shambling Ghast, and then actually, with that draw of Golos, let me explain first. With the draw of the 5-drop, or just having the 5 drops in hand already in the form of Invoke Despair, we're able to just wait till their end step, Deadly Dispute the Shambling Ghast, make a treasure token off this guy, make another treasure token off the Dispute, and then we're just looking to draw into another mana source, and then we're gonna have 5 mana on turn 3. I think it's turn 3, right? 5 mana on turn 3. Wow, that's incredible. Sorry, I was just like not believing myself for a second. But yeah, 5 mana on turn 3, and we're just able to play out this Golos here. Oh, what? I don't go for it for whatever reason. I don't know my thinking there. Oh, I realize now. Like I said, hindsight 2020. I went for the Warlock class and just level 2'd it to find extra land, because I wanted to leave up a Fatal Push, as we saw the opponent played a Concealed Courtyard last turn, and so that means that they're going to be on Greasefang, at least most likely. If this was like a whatever the slow lands of Borisov is, the Shattered Sanctum, I would have been more wary, as that could mean more of a like an Esper control deck. But the Courtyard really means a Greasefang deck, at least to me. And so I just wanted to leave up the Fatal Push with Revolt in that case. Draw into another Warlock class, and I think at this point we're just wanting to leave up at least one treasure token. And so we are able to play out the Golos over the play it over the Invoke Despair, as they don't have any creatures or anything to get rid of. And Golos is nice because it guarantees us an extra land for next turn. So they consider, so yeah, definitely we know that this is going to be Greasefang, Esper Greasefang, which I usually don't play against, which is very nice. We're able to attack for the 3. Scourge looking not the best here. They have a Tainted Indulgence. Discard a Sky Sovereign. So a bit wary now against a possible Greasefang. But we do go for the Warlock class and just immediately level 2 it. And we do find another Deadly Dispute, Hive, and Invoke. So let's see what we take. We do take the Invoke. I think, let's see, did we play our land this turn? Yeah, we did play a land, so possibly it was correct to not play a land, and then just take the Hive and then play the Hive, as it's just a lot better against their deck configuration. But I guess just taking the Evoke is just like the most powerful play we can make here. And we kind of just have our mana under us already, so perhaps, yeah, I guess there is some debate to that choice. So they do have a Greasefang. We have to push it before combat, as always. And they do have a Stubborn Denial, which is really, really interesting. I was not expecting that, but again, against the blue decks, that's what you kind of have to think about. Fortunately, though, we did have the second Fatal Push, so we're in good shape. And we even just draw into a third one. We're so very, very lucky this game, just in the form of drawing our interaction when we needed it. However, they still have a graveyard with Sky Sovereign in it, with Greasefang in it. They could have Can't Stay Away. They could just have another Greasefang. However, though, we don't have any way of getting Revolt, so we just kind of have to go for one of the Invokes this turn, as we deal them 6, and then this also guarantees us lethal next turn if we want to do the other Invoke. And then we do draw just some lands and a Karn. Karn could be good as well, getting Tormod's Crypt against them, obviously. So let's see what they have. They have a Sorin. So this card is actually pretty interesting. Not sure if it's better than Can't Stay Away, to be honest, but does get their Greasefang back at the moment. So they are able to, whoopsies, I kind of got freaked out there. They are able to get their Sky Sovereign. And then I just yield here. And then kill our Golos, which is pretty effective, and get the lifelink as, I guess, yeah, creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink and gains, I guess, 6 damage. So that was very, very impactful for them. So here, fortunately, we do still have access to the Invoke Despair, so we get a nice, I guess, 3-for-1, getting the Greasefang, the Sorin, and then just an extra card in our hand as well. And then we play out a third land, and then we just pass turn, leaving up, oh, no, sorry, yeah, I was thinking we would leave up Field of Ruins and leave up Revolt on Fatal Push. We're actually just able to play out the Merchant, make a treasure token, and then still be able to leave up the Fatal Push. They have a Faithful Mending on end step, discarding 2 Sky Sovereigns into a Tainted Indulgence, discarding nothing. Consider into Vanishing Version of the graveyard, which is pretty interesting. And then they just pass turn. we draw into Scourge, so this is really interesting. Now our Scourges are just getting very powerful, just as creatures we could play out, and they're getting very powerful, obviously, with the combo. So here I just go level up the Warlock class, as we're still able to keep up Fatal Push mana with the treasury token, and we just get an extra mana. Does not play around Stubborn Denial, but we're not going to play around that anyways. They just have another Indulgence. And see what they have here now. Right, so they had a hardcast Parhelion, which was, I guess not the best for them, right? As we were able to just play out the Scourge, and then on end step we just win the game. So that's the combo right there. Really nice that we got the combo at least one game here. It's a really, really fun combo. Just 2-card combo, very, very clean. And yeah, just that inevitability is very nice to have access to, in my opinion. Okay, so we're here for game 2 of match number 3. Post sideboard, we did take out 2 of the Scourges, a Shameless and a Warlock class, and brought in the 4 Thoughtseizes. So obviously Thoughtseize is good against the combo decks, and they are technically a combo deck, I would believe. And so bring those in, and then we take out the Scourges and the Warlock class because the combo is not as good against them, as they're just generally a bit faster, and then just take out the Shameless, as it's not too applicative otherwise. We have first hand that we had to mulligan a 1-lander, draw into another 1-lander, which is a bit unfortunate, but we do have access to Shameless plus Deadly Dispute, but we do go for the Warlock class on turn 1, as it if we draw a second mana source, then we do pretty much get a guaranteed third mana source with this level 2. So unfortunately we do draw the Castle Lochlane, which is, I believe, the only land that does not work for us here, unfortunately, but we do just play out the Shameless. The opponent is doing nothing, so a bit scared, honestly. Here, however, we do just go for the Deadly Dispute plan, so we deal them 1 at the moment. And then Deadly Dispute. So this plays around, or does not play around, Stubborn Denial very well. However, I think we have to go for it as just like the highest upside play, and it's still going to provide us with a treasury token, so we could still leave up Thoughtseize or Fatal Push thereafter. So I think it's okay. But yeah, they do just have the Stubborn Denial, which is a bit unfortunate, but we are just able to leave the Fatal Push here. Could have gone for Thoughtseize, but I was thinking that they, obviously not hitting our 3rd land, I kind of don't want to get rid of the treasure token right away, and it's just easier to play a bit more conservative. They do, however, have a Collective Brutality, which is very interesting. They discarded a Parhelion, they dealt us 2, and then took our Thoughtseize out of our hands, which is okay. Not the best interaction for us, but definitely okay, as we're still able to guarantee protection, at least a little bit in the form of Fatal Push. If they have like Greasefang into Stubborn Denial next turn, then, you know, so be it. Can't really play around like 3 sources of interaction with 2 stubs, a Brutality, and then the Greasefang with Parhelion. That's kind of insane. Can't really play around that. We do, however, just find our 3rd land off this level 2, which is very nice. Play that out, and then just leave up the Fatal Push. And the opponent just passes turn, I believe. Yep. Draw another Fatal Push, which is nice, but definitely a little awkward, as we can't play out the Karn in addition to keeping up Fatal Push just yet. However, the opponent is making no plays as well, as they just play their 5th land. We do draw Warlock class, which is definitely, if it's not going to be a land, then it's going to be an okay draw. Do just immediately level 2 it. And fortunately, we do not see a land, but we do see a Deadly Dispute, which we just snag up here and pass turn, obviously leaving up the Fatal Push. So they have Void Rend, which is a card I was not thinking of on end step here. So this plays around, plays around Fatal Push, as we're just not able to cast it and then they're actually able to deal us total of, I always forget what this is, I guess it's 13 damage. Yes, I could do math. Total of 13 damage, which is pretty impactful. One may say that we were just dead there. Fortunately, though, we did have triple fatal push that we were just kind of sitting on the entire game here. So we were able to just play out a blast zone, which is nice. Then we drew the third land, and then get rid of the double angels, and then pass turn. I deal them a little bit of damage there, which is nice. And then they have a Tainted Indulgence, so trying to put something into the graveyard. Obviously, they'd have the Parhelion in hand, so they get to put that in there. And then, yeah, we were just kind of dead. They had a lot of interaction that game, especially with the Void Run. Definitely was not expecting that card, but so be it. They had a pretty good start. Okay, so for game 3 of this match 3, we are on the play, which is nice, with a hand that we unfortunately have to mulligan into a better one here. Did not make any... Oh, no, sorry, we did make some changes post-sideboard. I forgot that we actually took out 2 of the invokes. I was thinking that this card is good because it was good game 1 against their Sorin. But after some more deliberation, I was like, I think I'd rather just have the extra Warlock class and Shambling Ghast, as we just drew into here. Keep the 2 Skyclaves out, though. So we do have a pretty nice hand. Just put back a land, excuse me, and just play out this Warlock class. The opponent, I think they might have misplayed there of just skipping through their turn and having to discard a land. But we were able to just level 2, get a Thoughtseize, and then, yeah, Thoughtseize them this turn. We see a pretty stacked hand, so only 2 lands, but they do have 2 Greasefangs, Brutality, Parhelion, Stubby D, Vanishing Verse. So really kind of difficult. We know we're not taking the Parhelion, probably not taking the Vanishing Verse, and then we're less inclined to take the Greasefangs because they have 2 of them. So it's really only the Stubborn Denial or the Brutality. Let's see what we take here. Okay, so we do take the Brutality, which is pretty interesting. I think that was probably correct, as they... that was their only way of getting the Parhelion into the graveyard, and so we just kind of have to take it there as we play out the Ghast. Yeah, feeling pretty good. They play out the Underground River. We draw another land, which is okay. Attack for Uno. Play out the Skullport Merchant. Now we have Revolt for Fatal Push against a possible Greasefang. They do draw their 3rd land, which is very nice for them. As we just draw a Warlock class. And then immediately level 2. And let's see what we find. We do find a Thoughtseize, which is pretty notable. We're able to Thoughtseize them again. And here they do Stubborn Denial, I believe. No, they Faithful Mending in response. So they drew Faithful Mending, putting Parhelion into the graveyard. And here, I think we were supposed to take the Greasefang. I think I actually took the March, which is kind of... No. I took the Collective Brutality. I guess that's also kind of embarrassing. I think we were for sure supposed to take one of the Greasefangs and then just push the other one. I guess I was a bit worried of them going like very ultra safe and playing the Brutality out to get our Fatal Push, and then just Greasefang next turn, or the turn thereafter. But it still doesn't make much sense, as we're just, either way, we're leaving them with 1 Greasefang, or just, yeah, 1 resolved Greasefang in the end. So it doesn't make much sense, to be honest with you. But it's definitely just difficult either way. However, though, we do get pretty lucky. They do go for the Greasefang, which they kind of had to. We do have to push for it. And then we get very lucky. We do have the Karn draw. I guess it's not too lucky, though, because we did have the Hive to get rid of the Parhelion. So I guess there's merit to that. Oh, no, sorry. No, they have the March for the Hive. Yeah, so they have March for Hive, so we're just not even able to play that out. So we do get uber lucky with this Karn draw, as we're just able to exile their entire graveyard, getting a Tormod Crypt. Tormod's Crypt. Play that out. And there's no need in activating right away. Even now they have a Void Rend for the Karn, and which is completely okay. Do have a Thoughtseize, so we just Thoughtseize, taking away the, I believe it's just the March now. Yeah, take away the March, leave them with Vanishing Verse and Greasefang, both cards that really aren't really doing much right now. I believe I tried to activate Hive there, but don't have the mana for it just yet. Oops. But yeah, just leaving up Tormod's Crypt. They kind of have to go for the Greasefang here, but we do have the access to exiling the graveyard before beginning combat. So have to do it on their main phase, as this specifies at the beginning of combat. So they get immediate priority with that activation. But we do actually sack Gas to Skullport Merchant, which is pretty neat. Creating a treasure token and drawing a card. And then we do that once again. And we do find a Fatal Push, which is very nice, especially with the field as Revolt. But we do just play out the second card that we drew into. And we take a Stone Brain, which not sure if that's like completely correct. But I didn't think that it would be too incorrect, as getting Greasefangs out of their deck is probably just like what we want to be doing. And we do save Karn here, but they do have a Sky Sovereign for it, unfortunately. Here we first go for a field, Fatal Push, Greasefang, and then Stone Brain, so we're able to exile it permanently, as we do just take all 4 Greasefangs. And then I kind of clicked through that too fast. But we did see an alternative win condition, I believe. I forget what the card was, but they do just concede here, as I guess they considered us or considered themselves dead just without access to the Greasefangs. So yeah, pretty deterministic win here. I mean, Karn was just very powerful there, getting the Tormod's Crypt, and we fortunately drew into our interaction, which was very nice. And yeah, just had a very interactive gameplay there.